welcome to episode 2 of the No Huddle Football Podcast. Been a minute for us, a couple of delays, hurricanes, fantasy football drafts, life. We're back for episode 2. How you doing, Ryan?
Oh, not too bad. Happy football has begun officially.
Yes, it was overdue. I was looking forward to it a lot this year again. Lots of exciting stuff this year. Glad it's back. So on today's episode, we're going to open up with a game that I came up with many, many years ago. I mean, how long has it been now? Like 10, 15 years ago? More than 10 years ago.
It's been over a decade for sure. That's for sure.
For sure, because it was while we were both still working at Publix, I think.
Yes.
And we've been gone from there for over 10 years now. So this game that I came up with called Armchair Analyst, game I kind of came up with because there was a lot of people that would tell me, oh, I knew this was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. But we would never hear from them at the beginning of the year. So this is a way for people to kind of put their name on it at the beginning of the year. And then we revisit and see just how far off we were throughout the season and at the end of the season. Yeah. So I'll run down, come up with 10 questions. And we'll just kind of run down them all. And we have some point values. We'll go over that maybe towards the end of the year to determine a winner. But for now, we'll just go down the questions, starting off with number 1, 2-part question. Which team is going to finish with the best regular season record and the worst regular season record? Who do you got for that?
I'm trying to remember who I had for the best. I want to say I'm just scrolling through. I want to say I did the safe pick and picked the Chiefs, honestly. Because I mean it was that, or I want to say San Francisco was my other pick, but I definitely think the Chiefs. I mean it's a safe bet. They're gonna double digit wins for sure, which is not hard to come by these days. But I think that, I mean they're obviously not going undefeated, but.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But I had them for the most wins, and for the least amount of wins, I picked the Bears.
The Bears. That's looking pretty solid pick right now.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
they look god awful. Worst team in the league right now.
Yeah, and that's that's even with the New York Giants being in the same conference as them. That's crazy. Crazy to think about.
Yes. So for me, I also, for best team, I just went with the safe bet. Went with the Chiefs. You figure they're good for at least 12 wins, so that's going to put them near the top. They just always feel like the safest bet. Although they have the tough AFC to go through, I'm sticking with them because I feel like the NFC is such a toss-up every year.
Yeah.
Like you look at think about it. All the years growing up, it's like the AFC. They stay consistent for a long time. You had the Patriots, Colts, and the Steelers that were good for a long time. Now it feels like we're going to have the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Bills. Like they're going to be the ones kind of just hanging out at the top for a while. But the NFC, it's anyone's guess from one year to the next who's going to be the best.
I always think about that skit on the scene on The Simpsons where it has like the dinner plates or whatever, and it's like, oh, you gave me the AFC or the NFC plates. They're like in court or something. I forget. It was like decorative or commemorative NFL plates, and like they had to separate by conference. It was funny.
Nobody wants them because they're so wildly inconsistent. And then for the worst record, I went with probably what is the popular pick, but sometimes the popular one makes sense, which was the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh yeah.
What were they doing at the beginning of the year? You have Kyler Murray go out, and everyone figures Colt McCoy is going to step in at quarterback, and they just cut him. Like, what was it, like 2 weeks or something, or 3 weeks before the season was going to start?
I think as soon as Kyler Murray went down, they're like, "Fuck it, dude, we're tanking. Fuck this. Like, we're not going to put. We're like, I don't want to get a mid-round pick with Colt McCoy as my quarterback because he's good enough to make you 500.
They've got some players on the team.
Yeah, like with what's around him, Colt McCoy could have got him. They could have limped him to the finish line. Not going to win no division for sure, but like they would have got some wins. But like, if once Kyler Murray went out, dude, fuck it, dismantle this bitch, dude.
So I feel like if we've ever seen an obvious tank job, this has to be it. I mean, as far as what management is going to try to do now, I don't know. The players may not go along with it and say, "Hey, we're all still fighting for our job," and they're going to go out and give every effort that they can. But it seems like it reminds me of the movie Major League. The owner is just trying to set them up to fail, like just wants them to fail so she can relocate them. Like that's what it feels like ownership is doing right now in Arizona.
I mean, yeah, I know they're like one of the worst places to play as far as like being a part of the team, and like their facilities real bad. They, like make the players like pay for their food, or as like other other markets are like they give them like these awesome meals, like all their therapy and like medical equipment is like shitty in Arizona, whereas like everyone else is like top notch. It's like it's just a horrible place to play apparently. I just don't get it. It's like one of the oldest franchises in the NFL. It's one of like the first, and it's just like a laughing stock off and on. Like they go through spells of being great or like good.
Good, I would say good, like, not great.
Yeah, and then they're just fucking terrible. And it's a great place, dude. Phoenix is great. Why not make that team like a marketable team where people want to come there? Why not?
I feel like that should be easy given the area there.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I mean, the stadium's super nice. The area in Glendale that's the stadium sits at super nice too.
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
No.
All right, on to question number 2, which is which team will be the most improved based off their win total from last year?
I picked the Browns. They won 7 games last year. They were off to a pretty good start. I think they should have beat the Steelers, but
it was a rough game for many reasons.
Yeah,
that was a rough game.
Yeah, it was. I ended up going. I like went to sleep at halftime, and I woke up to just like fucking A, man. Like my workhorse, like arguably my favorite player in the game right now, gone.
Done for the year.
I know, it's a bummer.
Maybe his career.
I mean, it's possible. It's the same knee he hurt in
2015.
Yeah, in college. Yeah, I remember because like whenever he got drafted, I was like, well, that's pretty high for Nick Chubb because like they had like Todd Gurley, I think DeAndre Swift, and like one other running back that came out of Georgia at the same time. It was like Nick Chubb was like he was a big dude in college. I was like, oh yeah, you may get a couple of years in the NFL. And he's like on Hall of Fame like pace for like literally everything.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the top running backs in that. What a crushing blow!
And what's crazy is like when I was watching the game earlier, like he got tackled like kind of low, and like he like a hit straight on. I was thinking like, well, I'm like I know like he does like squat like 500-600 pounds. I'm like, good thing he's got them strong legs, and fucking sure enough, dude.
Thing bent backwards. It was. I missed it because the 2 Monday night games had kind of put me to sleep.
Yeah, they've been pretty tragic.
Yeah, they were pretty bad. So I was flipping around on my phone, and then I actually got a message from Turnell because me and Turnell were talking, and he's just like, "Oh, Nick Chubb, his injury looks real bad or whatever." And I was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Hold on, let me just go to Twitter real quick. Nick Chubb," and then I see it already pre-typing injury. I'm like, "Uh-oh." All right, let me click, and then I watched the video. I was like, "Oh God, that was a terrible mistake to watch that video."
Yeah, I can't watch shit like that. The first thing I did is I opened up Instagram, and the first thing I saw was Adam Scheffler and said Nick Chubb on the fucking back of the medical cart. I'm like, motherfucker.
Yep.
Like that's not good. I don't even need to read it yet. Like I was like, I don't even want to see it.
You ready to drop some serious cash tomorrow for what's his face, his backup?
Oh yeah,
you dropping big money?
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I put Chubb in the. I don't have the heart to release him, but I put him in the IR slot.
That was me last year with Breece Hall. I was like, and I know Chubb means so much more to you than Breece Hall meant to me last year. I was just like, I was so excited with my 6th round Breece Hall pick.
Yeah,
and he was solid for 6 weeks, and he was like carrying my team. And I didn't have anyone else injured until like week 12 or 13, so I just left him tucked in that IR spot. I know he's not coming back, I just can't bring myself to release him.
He's gonna get the ring. He's gonna get the ring at the end of the year.
Exactly. He needs to stay on the team in case we win the ship. Gonna name the team after him and everything, but I had to let him go because I needed that spot.
Yeah, my first pick, the number 3 overall pick in our draft, gone.
Yeah, that's always tough. There's a few of them dropping this year, though. I mean, I see. Who's the other one that just went out? The other running back. Eckler. Eckler's out.
Oh yeah, but yeah,
Saquon is out.
Fucking Austin Eckler, he pops off week 1, like is the reason I lost week 1 fantasy, and now he's out.
Now he's out. Saquon is out. I mean, these big name people are dropping right now.
It was Aaron Jones too.
Yes, that was the other one. Aaron Jones, another big name.
I was hoping AJ Dillon would have done a little bit more with him out. Since I have him, I was pretty disappointed. Oh well.
Yeah, I feel like anytime he's gotten the chance, he doesn't do much with it as far as fantasy stats go.
I thought he was going to do way more coming out of college. Like him in Boston College did. He looked like he was going to be like the guy for some team.
Yeah, and I don't know. He's gotten a few opportunities, but maybe now, I don't know. Maybe this time he'll capitalize on it.
Yeah.
All right, our question number 3. Which team is going to score most points this year?
Most points. I forget
what offense. I'll go while you think about that for a second. So for mine, I went ahead and I went with the Lions. I thought maybe, they're a high-powered offense. I figured they're probably going to get into some shootout games, which are going to cause them to have to hurry up and score some more. They were 5th in 2022.
Yeah.
And I feel like that team is on the rise. And so I'm going to go ahead and roll with the Lions. I think Jared Goff is looking better. The team just looks more confident overall. I know they had a little hiccup this weekend, but I'm going to go with the Lions.
I also that was my pick, and I remember why that was my pick, and that's the exact reason I have Jared Goff on my fantasy team, because I was like, this dude, like, he puts up the numbers for sure. And I saw some like a side-by-side stat of him and Eli Manning, and how Eli Manning is considered a Hall of Fame quarterback for whatever reason, just because his defense carried him to 2 Super Bowls,
2 championships.
Yeah, and one which was an absolute fluke. The one with the fucking helmet catch, like absolute fluke. It was like that whole. I mean, I remember. That was the one where like me and you were like on. What was that? Yeah, and I closed the laptop. I was like, "Fuck this!"
I still remember that very vividly.
So mad.
That play happened. Oh, he's gone. What was that? Was that Stickham?
Stickham, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was that we were on. And but yeah, I remember you slamming the laptop.
I just couldn't believe it. How do you let him slip out of all those arm tackles? First of all, why are you arm tackling? And then Rodney Harrison, out of all the times to not be a dirty player,
just smack the ball, hit him.
This moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I believe the Lions are also I picked, and that's why I also have Jared Goff on my fantasy team.
Okay, makes sense then. Why you picked him up late? I was thinking of getting him as a backup quarterback. I told myself this year, I said I got to go early for a quarterback, because every year I wait, and then I end up with some guy that's getting me 10 points and 12 points, and everyone else is throwing up 25 to 30 points against me. And I'm like, I need to change that this year and get a good quarterback. Granted, my guy hasn't worked out yet, but I was expecting a slow start for him because of the lack of preseason for Joey Burrow.
Yeah, Joey Burrow is ice cold right now, man.
He was, if you remember, they were 0-2 last year too. And I saw a stat that in his first 2 games, from each season, he's a combined 1-7. He's a slow starter.
I think what it is this year, though, is probably he's not used to the weight of that wallet he's carrying around, so it's harder for him to move around once the ball is snapped.
That's where he tweaked his leg.
Yeah, it's just so much more to carry than he's used to. He's like, oh, it's 275 mil back here, man.
But no, I think he'll be all right. Give it some time. Now he's got that slight injury, but week 4, week 5, I think he'll get it going. But if not, got Tua as a backup, so I'll take it. So question number 4, which team will allow the fewest points? who's going to be the best defense in terms of not giving up too many points this year?
So mine, it's either between San Francisco or Dallas. I want to say I picked San Francisco, but yeah, I would say between those two, San Francisco or Dallas. I don't really believe in a lot of AFC defenses, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
and you got a
like,
lot of
there's
high-powered
good,
offenses over there too.
There's good defenses. Don't get me wrong. Like the best defenses both lie in the NFC, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
shit,
for
even Detroit.
mine-
Detroit and Green Bay have some pretty stout defenses as well. I'd say they're better than some of the AFC defenses.
Yeah. So for mine, I went with the team that I picked up for my fantasy team, and there was a reason why I did that, and I picked the Saints.
Okay.
I picked the
Shitty
Saints because
division.
what I did is whenever I was picking for this question, I noticed something. Any team that is the lowest in, like for the last few years, any team that was the lowest in points allowed, they were like not even in the top 5 the year before. They were like nowhere to be seen. They just came out of nowhere. And so I was like, okay, well, let me look at a team then outside of the top 5. I'm going to try and do something a little out of the box, find someone that's outside of the top 5. I was going through whenever I was trying to pick a defense because I knew I was going to pick a defense late this year. I was going to just let me try streaming a defense so I can load up on some skill position players.
Yeah.
So I was like, I always try and look at the first 3 to 4 weeks. Who's got good favorable matchups the first 4 weeks? And with the Saints, I thought they had favorable matchups potentially the first 6 weeks of the year. I mean, you look at their first 6 games against the Titans, last night against the Panthers, next week against the Packers, a little bit of a wild card because we didn't know what Jordan Love would be.
Yeah.
He's looking pretty good though. Week after that against the Bucks, but they always match up well against the Bucks, and that one's in New Orleans. And then you have Patriots with Mac Jones, and then you have the Texans like to start out. So I'm like, they might do pretty good in the beginning, and then if you looked, I'm not going to go through all their games, but like they just have games here. Another one against the Panthers. You have the Giants who look awful. You have the Bears coming up, the Colts. What Colts team are we going to get by then? So I was just looking. I'm like, you don't really play any high-powered offenses. And I feel like their defense is a little underrated, and they probably didn't look as good last year because, I mean, their quarterback situation was a mess.
Yeah.
Between Winston and using Taysom Hill, and what was it? Was Andy Dalton there, kind of?
Yeah. He was there, kind of.
There was no good options for them, so they couldn't keep the ball.
Yeah.
I
mean, in theory, that sounds like a great pick.
Yeah, that's just, we'll see how it works out. I mean, if the trend continues that it's not a top, because I was looking at Dallas and San Francisco too, but then I was like, well, every year that I'm looking for the previous year, it's just somebody out of left field that takes that top spot. Now those guys might be like still in the top 5.
Yeah.
The team that comes to the top, they come out of like a top 10 area, top 15 area, and move all the way to number 1. So that's who I was going to roll with this year. And I think it was actually researching this question is what then led me to drafting them whenever I looked at that. So, all right, number 5. This should be your area of expertise right here. Offensive, defensive rookies of the year, because you are our college pro here.
The college pro, yeah.
It's kind of a weird term. Our college expert. Who do you got? Offensive, defensive.
I know defensive, but let me, hang on one second. I forgot to pull this up. At least for offensive, I don't know for offensive who I had off the top of my head, so I just have to look at the old,
I'll give you a hint. He's on my fantasy team. That's the answer for offensive.
Oh, Bijan. Yeah, I think that's honestly who I did pick. I would say, because it's. Yeah. I mean, I would say it's usually quarterback. I mean, we've made that. We had that discussion, I think, last year, the year before, that it's 9 times out of 10 it's a quarterback. I mean, unless you get like a super high productive wide receiver, but I just think Bijan Robinson in the division that he lies in, it's not a great division. I think defensively, like yes, one of the defenses you picked is, or the defense you have for your fantasy was based off of basically a weak divisional system as well. So, but I just think he's too good. I just think he's too good. I mean, watching him at Texas, he was super great to watch as well. But for defense, Joey Porter Jr. on the Steelers, only because I think he will be so pumped to play where his dad played.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, that would motivate me. I'm not saying it would motivate him. Great. I mean, whatever. But if my father played for a team like basically my whole life and I got drafted to that same team, I would want to do everything I could to make an immediate impact. This is, and he's a great player. I mean, there's a ton of great defensive players, but I picked Joey Porter Jr. basically because of that. I think just that that weird little happenstance of him being drafted to the team his dad played for is like a big motivational factor for me.
Okay. So spoiler, I already gave away my offensive Bijan.
Yeah.
That's why I was hoping it would fall to me in our fantasy football draft this year. Again, I went with the young running back. I made that mistake last year with Najee, but I did my homework this year a little bit and made sure it was somebody that was going to have a good offensive line, which is where I screwed up last year.
Yep.
And they're already such a that's all they do is run. They don't even really pass. That's why Kyle Pitts is going to waste there. Drake London is going to waste there. They just run the ball.
Yeah, they get a mobile quarterback at that.
Yeah, exactly. And, like we said, normally it's a quarterback award, essentially. But, quarterbacks this year that came out, I don't really believe in them that much.
No, yeah, it's one of those years.
I think that any one of them are a favorite to take it. It's got to be Bijan's award to win or to lose this year. And already through 2 games, I mean, he's going crazy already.
I think the only person or quarterback that he'll have a trouble maybe beating out, I would say, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is fucking CJ Stroud on the Texans. Granted, yes, he is an Ohio State quarterback, but I think he is a better quarterback than the one his predecessors. I think he's more well-rounded. Granted, he never beat Michigan. Get fucked, but I do think he's a better quarterback. Whereas Justin Fields, whenever he was in, he was an athlete, but it's not hard, for you to be a great player when you're throwing in nothing but fucking 5-star studs constantly on slant routes on college defenses. Yeah, bro, you're great.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say he's probably one of the better prospects for this year, but still, I think it's
yeah, I'd agree.
So, and then for defense, I went with Jalen Carter, just with how productive he was in college. I know I don't even remember what his off the field issue was, whatever it was that he did that made him slip. But the fact that he landed with the Eagles defense almost seems unfair with how good they are. And that's the thing is he doesn't have to go somewhere and be the star and be, where everyone's focused on him. He can easily get lost in the mix of other really good players that they have there.
Yeah, but that also might be bad. An impact. It also might be bad though. If
I'm just saying,
he's just
as far as
guy.
not drawing the double teams is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, that.
If you're the star person, you're getting double and triple teamed. Like Aaron Donald, when we see these pictures where he's getting triple teamed, he doesn't have to worry about it because they can't double team him because there's somebody else over there that's going to come through. So it's almost like they would have to leave him single coverage, which is going to be hard for anybody to do. So I think as the year goes on, I think that's the best chance to take the defensive rookie of the year award. All right, up next, number 6. Who will be the league MVP this year?
Well, my MVP. Oh shit! Well, my MVP had about 3 games of or 3 snaps of gameplay before he was deemed not the MVP this year. Four snaps of gameplay.
4 snaps, if you think about it.
Yeah.
3 snaps of gameplay.
I picked a run. I mean, on paper, why not?
Yeah.
But according to MetLife Stadium Turf, Not gonna happen.
Not going to happen. Still disappointed about, I don't think either one of us are Aaron Rodgers fans.
Nah, not really.
But like, man, watching that intro to the season and
Yeah,
watching,
got you
the
bricked up,
lights.
man. Yeah, got you bricked up.
Yeah, I was so pumped. I'm like, man, I don't like this guy, but I'm kind of rooting for him right now, just for tonight, maybe. I don't know, but let's see. Like, I'm excited to see it. Like, this is good for football, and to get, 3 bad passing plays and a running play, and that's it. Your season is over. Like, sucks. I mean, they've been doing so much. They've been hyping him up. He got that big intro.
He had more commercial
the Hard
time than
Knocks.
fucking on-field uniform play.
They were doing. The NFL was setting up everything to make this, a big story. I think they were. I wonder if part of it is they were hoping, like the next Brady 2.0. Brady, went to a new team, won a championship. Like, all right, let's follow this team from the start so we have everything documented, because we couldn't document anything with them because of COVID. So this is our second chance to record all of this and make a good documentary or something out of it.
Well, and plus with it being a New York franchise and all that, like it's a bigger deal, and with the Jets being, the Jets, it's similar to the Tom Brady thing where he came down here and playing for the Bucks, where it's like, yes, the Bucks had won a Super Bowl, but then again, the Jets have the one as well, and the Bucks are more of a laughing stock, I would say, historically, than the Jets are. So it's like same kind of thing. It's like maybe you can take the bad taste out of people's mouth if you come here and win the Super Bowl. I wanted Aaron Rodgers to win the MVP, and we'll go over later, but like I just wanted him to go out like Elway and just fuck off, basically.
Yeah.
Like, do your shit, get out of here, dude. We're done.
Done. We're out. Not hanging around too long.
Yeah, have your awards, bro. See ya.
So for mine, I had put the $275 million man, Joey Burrow. But I think I had put that down before he signed his contract, with part of the thing being that I was expecting he's playing into a contract year and everything, and extra motivation. Plus, I thought they've gotten close a few times. He's really going to want to push for them to get over the top, because, as quickly as your window opens, it can close. This is probably going to be the last year that they have T. Higgins there. So I feel like they were just going to all really, really make that push to try and,
Still
make something of this year. And then, but a lot of that was going to have to go through him. Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of time that they could do it, but he was my pick for MVP. With honorable mentions to Justin Herbert. I don't know if we'll see, because him being with Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
And then Trevor Lawrence. I think he has a really good shot too, because we can now see him, another year removed from the Urban Meyer debacle.
Yeah, Doug Peterson's a good quarterback coach too,
Exactly. Then also Justin Jefferson, I thought might have a chance to shine this year, to be the, if they don't go quarterback, he feels like he's got the best chance to win it. But official pick, Joe Burrow.
Joey B. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty safe one.
Yeah. All right, we'll break this up half and half. Question number 7. Pick the 8 division winners. So give us either your 4 NFC or your 4 AFC, and then I'll reciprocate and we'll move to the other conference.
All right, I'll do AFC since it's right here on my screen. Well, I initially picked the Jets, but I'm going to have to probably say the Dolphins now, but it was originally the Jets.
Jets, okay.
Yeah. NFC North, I did pick the Ravens. It's a shitty division. They're the only competent looking team, despite my Brownies, being my favorite team, but they're still shit. AFC South, the Jaguars for sure. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to crush that division for the next couple of years. I mean, with Anthony Richardson there, at least he'll have someone to like kind of butt heads with, but I think Trevor Lawrence is way too good. And for AFC West, the Chefs, man.
Yeah. Hard not to pick them for a while. I feel like they're going to go on like a Patriots run where they're just going to dominate for the next at least 7-8 years. Maybe there might be a slip up year mixed in there, but for the most part, it's going to be them. So for my AFC, Chiefs, definitely for the West, easy pick. The AFC South, I also have the Jaguars. I just looking around at what else they have there. It's Texans, no. Titans are on the decline. And then you have, like you said, the Colts, not quite there. Richardson's just not polished enough yet.
No.
Quarterback is too important right now. So Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. AFC North, I mean, if I got Joe Burrow winning the MVP, that means his team's got to be doing something right. So I got the Bengals taking the AFC North again. Ravens could be good. Steelers are still looking like crap, and the Browns are. I needed to see more from Deshaun Watson because man, the team looked all right before he got there last year, and then they looked god awful when he got there. I was like, well, let's see what an offseason does, but I'm not ready to say that he's back or anything. And
same old.
Yeah. He put on that Browns uniform and transformed himself into a true
the power got him. I think, I gotta be terrible now. Fuck my 3 Pro Bowls, dude, or all pros. Fuck them, dude.
Yeah. Hey, he got his money. He got his $230 million guaranteed.
Yeah,
so
guaranteed. Sign that check. Thank you.
Yep, he's good. Then for the AFC East, I had the Dolphins from the start. Bills, I don't know. They just
they missed their window.
There's been so much pressure on them to perform, and I feel like they haven't been able to do it. So I'm starting to see maybe they're going to dip a little bit. And then for the Jets, I was just really the biggest reason why I didn't pick them ended up being the reason why they're in the spot they're in now, and it's their offensive line.
Yeah.
And I was thinking as it related to the Bucs last year, Tom Brady looked awful. Part of that probably has to do with his age. Some of it had to do with the play calling.
Yeah.
But I felt like a lot of it had to do what happened at the beginning of the year. Ryan Jensen is hurt.
Yep.
We knew that was going to be a problem. Then they had some other people go out. That offensive line, I don't care who your quarterback is. If your offensive line can't block, you're not going to be able to do what you need to do, make your throws. If you're running quarterback, you're going to be running for your life every single play. You're going to eventually get knocked out. So I was concerned there for the Jets. Now, I didn't think it was going to end that badly that quickly, but
yeah.
And of course the Patriots, they're going to be at the bottom for a while. It seems, unless they figure out something. I don't know. Mac Jones just doesn't quite look like he's the answer there. So with all that, I kind of went process of elimination, came up with the Dolphins. But that all, of course, is banking on Tua stays healthy. I got to think that they worked on that all off season, how to slide.
It's time to just go down. Tom Brady thing, just crumple, where he just falls over. Just nope.
Yep. As soon as you feel the pressure, just hit the deck and go for the next down. It's not worth it, especially someone like him who is now looking very injury prone. Yes. When he's not, that team is on fire. So.
Yeah, you're
to stay healthy.
The points on your week 1 bench looked pretty stout.
Yes. Huge mistake. I was so hyper focused on my receivers, running back, and flex spot, completely overlooked the quarterback spot, or else I would have swapped him out because just thinking about it, I know Joe Burrow is a slow starter. The Browns always have his number. And then you have Tua playing against the Chargers in a game I figured would be a shootout. Completely forgot to swap them out. So, but yeah, he can.
He still won. So
still won. Thank goodness. I was going to be so mad if I started off the year 0-1 because of a poor, sit-start decision or lack thereof, I guess. All right, and now for the NFC side. Who are your division winners?
From the NFC West, I picked the Niners. They're just clear-cut the best team in that division for sure. The AFC South, I actually picked the Buccaneers.
NFC South?
Yes, NFC South. Sorry,
Buccaneers. Okay.
I picked the Bucks. I mean, I'm a big Baker fan. I think he's not a bad quarterback. So you put him with some massive wide receivers. They just gotta goddamn throw the ball. They'll be fine. He's a good quarterback. Yeah. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll do way better than people are expecting. And then they're gonna have to pay Baker Mayfield, and they're gonna have a lot of problems on their hands come the end of the year. The NFC North, pick the Lions. And for the NFC East, them boys.
Oh God.
I think it's I think it's their turn on the carousel. It's not quite the Commanders, but
Yeah,
I think it's
they're
the
not
boys'
there
turn
yet.
on the carousel of the NFC East title.
Okay. So for mine across the board, the NFC West, I also have the 49ers. Rams are, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from them. Seattle's good, but not great.
Yeah.
Arizona, like we said, is probably the worst team in football. One of the worst, if not the
Yeah.
worst.
I'm probably outright the worst. I mean, like the Bears are terrible, but like
They're
they have
right
some
there.
good players. They just have an
Yeah.
awful quarterback. Whereas the Cardinals, they should just forfeit the remainder season.
Yeah, they're the management there.
Safe.
And the fact that they have James Murray head coaching that football team. Have you noticed that? The
No,
coach.
no,
He looks just like James Murray from Impractical Jokers.
really. I'll have to
Yes,
look.
I
I'll
will
have to
find
look.
picture. And it's so funny because then I was just telling Miranda that I'm like, he looks like James Murray. Like he could be a stunt double. And then I saw a meme like yesterday, and it was the backstage shot of Sal, Joe, and Q. And it's like, all right, Murr, now coach the team to a 0-2 or blow a whatever point lead it was that they did against the Giants. And then it just showed a picture of the coach, and then it showed a picture of the Jokers like busting out laughing. Yeah. I was like, see, I'm not the only one that sees that thing. He looks just like James Murray.
That's funny. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. That's funny.
And then, so for the NFC North, I also went with the Lions because I think they are on the upswing. Packers didn't know what we were going to get with Gordon Love. And so, and then what was it? Bears, no chance. Absolute worst. And for the Vikings, I kind of think they're trending downward right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like last year was their year. I think that was going to take a lot out of them. The fact that they lost the way that they did last year. What was it? First round exit from the playoffs.
Yeah, for being like one of the best teams in the league last year.
Yeah, they were one of the best. They were winning all the close games and everything. They were looking good. And then everything fell off. They got rid of Dalvin Cook, which I thought was a huge mistake.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Yeah. And they lost a lot of people on defense this past year. Mm-hmm. They got Brian Flores as a coach, which I thought was good. But they lost too many players.
I mean, like, yeah, so they lost Adam Thielen, which, it's not terrible by any means, but he's still like a good red zone threat, and not to have him there kind of sucks for them.
Yeah, exactly. Although their other guy that they got, other person that's been riding my bench, what's his name?
Matt Madison?
No, that's the backup running back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Addison,
not
Madison. Yeah, he's looking good so far. So I mean, maybe Adam Thielen will be the least missed, but still, he's that red zone threat. So I went ahead and went with the Lions. I think they're all buying into Dan Campbell, which I wasn't sure that was going to work out when he first got there. He was, sounding a little crazy, but hey, if you win, people will follow you, I guess, know?
Man. He's the Ed Orgeron of the NFL, man.
Yeah. So for the NFC East, I also had them boys because, again, I was thinking the same thing. They rotate through champions. Giants don't believe in them too much for being the best. The Commanders didn't know what we were going to get in Sam Howell. Not enough to say that he was going to overtake the Eagles and the Cowboys. And I don't know. I think the Cowboys, I just feel like it was their time to shine. Probably getting tired of getting made fun of every year. They've got some really good players yet again.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of every year. Can they figure out, I don't know, put the ball in Tony Pollard's hands more and Dak's hands less.
They need to do the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields method. Get it out of the quarterback's hands. Don't let him touch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let the good players have it.
And then for the NFC South, the only spot where we have something different on the NFC, I went with the New Orleans Saints.
And you're a fan, right? You're a Bucks fan.
I think Derek Carr has been he's kind of like Baker. He's a very underrated quarterback, I feel like. And it's because you look at the Raiders teams that he's played on, they've been god awful on defense. It's one of the reasons why, a win-loss stat being tacked onto the quarterback doesn't always make the most sense.
Yeah.
Because like look at his defenses. They've been like bottom third of the league every year, I think, or almost every year that he was a quarterback there. And now look, he hasn't had to even put up over 21 points, and he's 2-0 right now because he's got a defense that can back him up.
Yeah, once they traded Khalil Mack away from the Raiders, their defense was pretty much non-existent for the remainder of Carr's time there. I think they had like a couple dudes, but like none that's going to fill the gap of a Khalil Mack,
Because I feel like they traded him, and then they're like, "Oh, wasn't it like they traded him?" And
traded with
John Gruden was there, and he was like talking
him,
like, "It's real hard. We need to find someone like a Khalil Mack. Like, what do you mean need to find someone like him? You had him and traded him away."
They traded him to the Bears, which was a worse option. They had an opportunity to trade him to, I think, San Francisco. But they traded him to the Bears for worse picks because they didn't want to compete in market wise with in California. So they traded him just out of state. Yeah.
So stupid. How did that work out for him? Pretty awful.
Yeah, it worked out for Khalil Mack 'cause he ended up in fucking LA anyhow. So he's still in California.
All right. Question number 8. We have who's going to be your AFC and NFC champion?
Well, my AFC champion will not be the AFC champion anymore because the 39-year-old quarterback needs to do some calf stretches before games, apparently.
I heard he can come back if they make it to the Super Bowl.
I saw that too, man. And if they do, wow. Like, within a year of Achilles coming back and fucking playing an NFL game. I mean, if he does, good for him. And I hope he leaves. But now, AFC wise, oof. I mean, I just would have to say the Chiefs just because that's the only like team
for that layup.
Well, because like I could say maybe the Chargers, maybe the Jags, maybe the Dolphins, and then maybe the Bengals.
Yeah, there's maybe a handful of teams that could take it.
As for the NFC, I picked the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
I just like, again, like in the NFC, like there's some high-powered offenses, and some good defenses to balance, but I just think they're too good of a team, especially if they can stay healthy. That's the big thing. Their running back's made of glass. Their tight end's made of glass. Their quarterback is apparently made of glass as well. So
I've only got one injury.
one for one.
Yeah.
But in their defense, I mean, I think this is the year they have to do it. It's like when how the Rams did, all for nothing, because they have the high, like every position they have the highest paid person in that position.
Yep. I mean,
That's insane.
They've built their team, but yeah, they've got to pay some people, so the window's going to close soon.
Yeah. Hopefully this is the year.
All right, so for my AFC, NFC champions, I just went with a couple of layups as well, because why not? Chiefs and 49ers. It just seems like the obvious picks here. Chiefs, it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very hard to bet against him. He just feels like the safest bet in football half the time. So,
well, he's going to win his division, so he's guaranteed to be in the playoffs. So then he just has to, with a home game. So then he just has to win 2 more games. That doesn't sound terrible.
Yeah, not hard.
And if you win that one game, there's a good chance you have another home game.
Yep.
In the hardest stadium to win in the NFL.
Exactly. So it's hard to bet against them at all. And then for the 49ers, like you already touched on, they've got such a stacked team on both sides of the ball. I think they're going to have that extra motivation if they make it back to facing the Eagles, because they feel like they had a real shot, and I think they did up until
Brock Purdy was
lost both quarterbacks. Yeah. Like how much it was so hard, and like it just didn't seem fair watching that game. Like you're down both of your quarterbacks, You have your injured quarterback coming in to obviously hand the ball off every time. You can play cover zero. Just bring everyone in. Stack the box. 11 in the box. Let's go.
That's when you need that's when you need like a Julian Edelman or like a Terrell Pryor, like the dudes that are like converted to wide receiver. Like, bro, come over here, start slinging it, dude.
Yeah. Just figure it out. Yeah. All right. So, who you got winning the Super Bowl then?
I'm gonna say the Niners. I think the Niners will win again. The window is closing. I think Shanahan's a great coach. I think again that is if they stay healthy. I think they will just dominate if they stay healthy.
Yep. So then for my Super Bowl pick, I also have the 49ers. The Chiefs 49ers matchup I think is going to be similar to the Bucks Chiefs matchup.
Yeah.
In the sense that the Chiefs got overwhelmed by the Bucks defense, and I think the 49ers can definitely replicate the same pressure, the same issues, the same mismatches that the Bucks did. So I'm going to just say all in on the 49ers. Kind of rooting for him, my boy John Lynch out there.
Yeah, of course.
Him and the team. I would love to see him win a Super Bowl at some point as a GM, because I've always thought of him as a really, not only, one of the hardest hitting safeties, but, a really intelligent person.
He's Stanford.
So I would like, exactly. I'd like to see him put together a championship winning roster at some point. That'd be good to see. All right. And then for our last question, who is your favorite team and how many wins will they get? So for your Browns, how many wins they getting this year?
11. I think they'll get 11 wins.
11 wins.
Well, that was before Nick Chubb.
Yeah, exactly. This is all.
I put
we're
11.
Recording this after week 2, but this was supposed to be our list from before the season started. So
yeah, Nick Chubb was supposed to carry them to at least an 11-win season.
All right. Much more confidence in your team than I have in my own. My Bucks, I got us just at about 8 wins.
6 more to go.
Yeah, I mean, so far, I expected them to win week 2. I had week 2 chalked up as a win. I had week 1 chalked up as a loss, but a probable win. So, I don't know. I just figured about 8 wins. There's going to be some tough games in there. I mean, who do they got coming down? They got the Lions coming up. Again, I think Saints is always a tough matchup. Bills might be hard. 49ers are going to be hard matchup. Falcons are looking pretty good. They're 2-0-2. Jaguars, Saints again. So I was like, I don't know. On the conservative side, I was going to go about 8 wins for the team, which, hey, was enough to get them into the playoffs last year. 8 and 9.
Hopefully they disappoint you with more wins,
It'll be all right.
Man, 12 wins.
Yeah, I'll take it. So that was it for our armchair analyst for this year. We will we'll check back at the end of the year, maybe halfway through the year.
Yeah,
see how bad things are looking. Obviously, a few things have already a few things have already fallen off for us through 2 weeks, but we'll see in week 8, week 9, and then of course at the end of the year, see how it's looking. All right, what do we got up next today? So 2 weeks in, as we said. Well, I'm skipping over, but that's fine. Who is your most surprising 2-0 team and your most surprising 0-2 team right now?
So I'd say my most surprising 0-2 would probably be the Bengals. I didn't think. I mean, I know the Browns have Joey Burrow's number, but again, it's the Browns. I just expect them to lose every week anyhow. So I thought that'd have been more like on the 2-0 side. So that's pretty surprising. Who I'm surprised or 0-2. Who is 2-0 that I'm surprised. The Falcons. I didn't say the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty terrible. At least I believe they're pretty terrible. But yeah.
So for me, my surprise 0-2 team, based off of what I was expecting the Bengals to start kind of slow.
But 0-2?
Yeah, I mean, not good. Considering who they were playing, though, they're playing the Browns and they're playing the Ravens. It's not like they were playing complete
that's true.
team. The Browns always stack up good. So for me, my most surprising 0-2 team, I think, would be Denver. I think I was expecting more out of them.
Oh, like unlimited things out of them, or
I thought Sean Payton was going to get more more out of Russell Wilson so far.
it's
It's
2
looking
weeks.
pretty rough.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks though.
Yeah. I was a little surprised. And looking at who they're playing, though, that's the other thing. They played the Raiders at home, lost. They played the Commanders at home and lost.
Yeah, the Commanders one was pretty surprising, honestly. Like the Raiders, like it's a divisional game, so it's like they should have won, but again, divisional you never know for the most part.
Yeah.
But the Commanders one, man, like let the Commanders beat up on you like that, dude.
So that's why they're a little surprising, is looking at who they were playing so far. And I don't know, I just expect a little more out of Sean Payton. Maybe he'll get him turned around.
Yeah.
My most surprising 2-0 team, I would have to say, is Washington. Based off where I had them from our pre-ranking that we did in the first episode.
Yeah.
Because again, I didn't know what to expect with their quarterback. Their running backs were all right, although Brian Robinson's looking much better this year, 1 year removed from his injury.
Yeah.
So I just was not expecting them to be 2-0. And who did they beat in the first two games? So I guess their competition hasn't been great. The Cardinals, and just like we were talking about, the Broncos. But I was just expecting them to be a bottom of the barrel team because I don't know. I didn't think they would beat the Broncos and the Cardinals. I expected them to beat. So looking at some of those other teams, though, that are 2-0, jump back over to that. Dallas, expected them to be good. Miami, I just said they were going to be a division winner. San Francisco, division winner. New Orleans, division winner. Philly's good. Atlanta could be a kind of a surprising team, but I don't know. I think that they've secretly they've been like very under the radar improving.
Yeah.
They picked up Bijan, which everyone knew about. They've got a lot of guys on defense. They got Jesse Bates from Cincinnati, the safety. They picked up a couple other guys on defense. I feel like they're going to be sneaky good this year. Maybe not great, but just like sneaky good this year. Like maybe they could be like the Lions from last year, that team that kind of jumps up that nobody's seeing it at the time. So that's who I have. I think Washington, I don't know how long they'll sustain their winning ways, but
we'll
see.
They got Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator. They should be somewhat productive,
Yeah. Next couple of weeks are going to be tough, though. They got to host the Bills and then go to the Eagles. So they'll get a real test the next couple of weeks. Let's jump over fantasy football teams. We got to talk our fantasy football teams for a little bit. Tell me about some of your favorite picks and least favorite picks. Are there anybody that you drafted that you wish you wouldn't have?
I don't know about
anyone that you were excited to get. Like, what do you think about the team that you drafted?
I think I'm all right, or my team's all right. I tried to have a more balanced team this year as far as like projected points, like how I think they'll score, and not so much like put all my eggs in like a handful of baskets where like I need this, like my one running back and receiver that's really good. I need them to pop off, like I put more faith in players that are more consistent. Like maybe it may not be like 20-30 points in our scoring system or whatever, like more of like 15 to 20, something, but like down the line where I'm not like seeing like single digits here and there. It's like at least everyone's like out of 10. That makes me feel like my team is performing. I got Jared Goff for the QB. I got him in like the 14th round, which I think is for him is a steal for what I think he'll do this year. Olave and Keenan Allen as my two main wide receivers. I'm pretty confident in those two wide receivers. Seems like a pretty good duo to me. I have Joe Mixon as currently my only running back, because my other running back, Nick Chubb, is no longer active. So nice empty slot sitting here. The Nick Chubb Memorial running back slot. For tight end, I have Dallas Goddard as my main. I have Pat Fairmouth as my secondary, but man, Dallas Goddard hasn't done shit.
Yeah.
He didn't even get a single point week 1. And week 2, I think he got me like 5-6 points. Like, bro, like, are you on the field at all? Like, you're supposed to be like a top end tight end.
Yeah, exactly. Tight end's been a little bit of a mess this year, though, starting out through the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like if it's not Travis Kelce, it's been a mess for a while.
Yeah, like, dude, like, how is he, like, how is, like, the gap between the number 1 guy and the number 2 guy, like, that severe? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a huge gap.
Like 1 to 2 is the same as like 2 to 30 or something.
Yeah. It was the Brian Scalabrine. He's like, I'm closer to LeBron than you are to LeBron, or whatever the fuck. It's like,
than you are to me.
Yeah,
I'm just talking to that one fan. I got to ask you, the one thing that threw me off when you were drafting, threw me off just because I didn't see it coming, and then it threw me off because it then messed up my plan a little bit. What was the idea with going tight end back to back around 6 and 7?
What I wanted, because I wanted to have 2 tight ends. I wanted to have, a backup for the, the main to go, whenever it's their bye week or whatever. But since we have the extra flex spot, sometimes a tight end is not a bad choice, especially if it's a good matchup. So I wanted to have, obviously, 2 tight ends on my roster, but I wanted to have 2 worthwhile tight ends while I could get 2 worthwhile tight ends. There were some others down the line that I could have picked, but like historical production wise, Dallas Goddard and Pat whatever the fuck. Yeah. In the position I was in, like where I was sitting with the other players I had and who I believed I could pick up in the future rounds, I just went ahead and picked my 2 higher end tight ends, or higher quality tight ends, for, what is worth. Just get them out of the way so I could continue to pick my wide receiver running back combos throughout the rest.
I gotcha. Because I mean, that started like a trend of people taking 2 tight ends, and I was not planning on that. Because I was like, all right, if I miss out on, I knew I wasn't going to get Kelce, because I was considering taking him as my number 1 pick in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I did a handful of mock drafts. I'm like, well, let me see what it looks like with Kelce. What am I getting behind him? And some of the lineups that I was getting were okay, but I didn't love them. And so I was like, well, let me try it with Tyreek Hill in that spot. Also, let me try it with Bijan Robinson in that spot. Those were like the 3 different people that I was building around. They seemed to be falling to me at the number 7 spot.
I did notice when I picked Chubb, it put a huge like pause on how way everyone was picking. Whoa.
Wait a second. So I thought, okay, if I don't get one of the top like 3 tight ends, then I'm going to just wait, because the drop off from number 4 to number 12 doesn't seem like that much. And I was looking, I was like, all right, everyone else has their tight end or is getting their tight end. I can still catch a Pat Freiermuth or one of these other guys. I figured I could catch them and just have it. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep loading up on running back, receiver. I'll pick the tight end later. All of a sudden I went to go look at like round 10 or 11. I'm like, what the hell happened to tight end here? And then I went back and looked at the draft board. I'm like, man, all y'all are doubling up on tight end. So I just picked someone to kind of fill the spot temporarily, who I dropped before week 1 anyways. It was Michael Mayer from the Raiders, because I heard he was a good pass catching tight end. I didn't do my research on him because he was nowhere on my radar for my draft board. And then whenever I looked it up, I'm like, oh, he's only tight end number 2 for the Raiders. He's not even number 1.
Yeah, I don't even know who it is.
Austin Hooper, I think, is number 1.
Is Hooper over there now?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know that.
Journeyman.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to drop him now, and I'm just going to pick up, Juwan Johnson for week 1. And then I picked up, who did I grab for last week? Oh, Njoku, your boy Njoku from the Browns. We did all right. So for me, for my picks, the ones that I liked, didn't like, switch over to my team. So the pick that I like last year, I told you it was like instant regret with picking Dak. I was like, damn it, I fucked up. It was not supposed to ever be Dak. It was always supposed to be Jalen Hurts in that spot. I thought he was on the uptick. And sure enough, he was. And I could have changed the course of my team that year if I would have just picked who I was supposed to pick.
Nah, you're destined to not. You're winning your league, bud. You know this.
Yeah, of course. No one's ever supposed to win their own league. That's like an unwritten rule of the fantasy football gods. You're not allowed to win your own league. But the pick that I kind of regret, and I regretted it as soon as I did it, and it was, again, it threw me off because I didn't expect the person to be there. But I think it was going to be Amari Cooper in the 5th round. I was thinking he was going to be gone. That was the spot where I had set aside to go scoop up TJ Hawkinson and lock in a good tight end. And then I got distracted with Amari Cooper there, and I'm like, ooh, Amari Cooper's there, and I only have one receiver right now. I only have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I really need a second receiver. What I forgot in that moment, there's a lot of other receivers I like down the line. So I don't need to go. That was the whole point, was get one stud receiver in round 2, and then I don't have to worry about it again until about round 7, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, bro. If you think about it, there's 32 number 1 wide receivers. There's only 12 of us.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, there's plenty of receivers. I can come back later. I got distracted by Amari Cooper. I wish I would have had Hawkinson. Not that Cooper's bad, but looking at some of the other receivers that I have on my team, I would be much better off if I could trade Amari Cooper for Hawkinson straight up, like I would.
Yeah.
Because that would strengthen my team significantly right there, locking in, I think, a pretty good tight end. And I didn't even see, because I think Hawkinson's been doing pretty good this year. Let me see. What did he, because didn't he have himself a pretty good game?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Because he had
like
7.5 points,
Yeah.
7.5 points week 1. Not spectacular, but for tight ends, it's better than getting 2 or 1.
That's about what you want, yeah.
Yeah, and then this past week against Philly, 22 points, 7 catches, 66 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's the guy I wanted to draft, but it is what it is. So that was the one that I kind of regretted right as I picked him up. People that, I'd say the guy that I really like that I drafted so far through 2 weeks, I'd have to say Brian Robinson at round 9.
Yeah.
He's looking pretty damn good. He's not quite, but he's like my Ken Walker this year. My late round running back pickup. Granted, Ken Walker was like 13 or 14 last year.
Yeah, he was at the very end for you.
Yeah, because, he was coming into the year, he was running back 3.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it, and I'm like, oh, Chris Carson, probably going to get hurt. Rashad Penny, probably going to get hurt. That late round flyer that you don't care if you drop anyways. I'm like, let me just take a chance on him. I hear great things about him. It worked out pretty good. As for Brian Robinson, this year for my fantasy team, week 1, 13.1 points, 19 rushes, 59 yards, catch, 7 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty solid out of the running back spot. And then this week he went off. 87 rush yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 catches for 42 yards, and a 2-point conversion for 27.9 points. He crushed it this week.
Yeah.
Nice to see that he's only owned in 88% of Yahoo leagues. I would think he would be all of them at this point. Maybe after this week, maybe that number will go up.
I don't know. Maybe
what league is he not in?
Usually people are pretty quick on those flash of like the good weeks. Like, not saying he's a bad player, but those players that it's like they do like half-ass most of the time, and then one week they'll have like quadruple their performance. Like, oh, now I gotta get him. Like, well, and then he falls off immediately. Just 1 week, man.
Why I try not to overreact on a week 1 anything, because I feel like you always see someone week 1 who goes off for like 30 points unexpectedly. Everyone rushes to get that guy, and then he has like 25 points for the rest of the year combined.
Doesn't even play. He's not even in the starting lineup. Like, what the fuck happened to that guy?
Yeah, exactly. He was just a one-hit wonder on week 1. I never overreact to the week 1 stuff. But I'm actually pretty happy with how my team turned out, minus the tight end spot. 2 good quarterbacks after always having crappy quarterbacks and waiting on them and having subpar ones. St. Brown, I was, so in round 2, I really wanted to get Garrett Wilson. I was hoping I would have Garrett Wilson fall to me. But now, in hindsight, I'm super glad that I have St. Brown, considering what unfolded in week 1. Obviously, I was able to scoop Lockett up, cash in on my girlfriend's mistake there.
Yeah, I was super surprised to see him on the trading block, or the dropping block, I should say.
Yeah, I saw that too. Like, I think I was at work or something. I was like, what the heck? After I acquired him, I was like, so why did you drop him? She goes, mistake. I was trying to do it. I think she was at work too and trying to work through some stuff and setting up her waiver pickups. Like, I picked the wrong person, and even when it said to confirm, she's like, I just didn't pay attention and I dropped him. And then I realized, no, as soon as I saw him available, I said, I'm taking him.
I do no adding or dropping of players on my phone. I do it on my computer so I can make sure it's all done right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I will sit there and I will look at it for a while before I hit confirm. And I like triple check myself.
I like to pull up everything and have like side by side to make sure I'm making the right decision. Like,
yeah,
I like to have a lot of shit up there. Yeah, because I went on when I went to go pick. I just wanted to go see like what was available, and I saw Anthony Richardson available. And I was like, picking this guy right now, which I was surprised to get him. I did pay $2 whole for him, but
you outbid me by $1. I put $1 on for him.
You know, I figured
I didn't really need a third quarterback, but
well, yeah, but why not? His fantasy upside is huge. You know,
yeah.
Like, I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback this year, like as an NFL quarterback, but as far as fantasy, I'll get some good weeks out of him. That's for sure. He's staying on this team.
Yep. I was surprised to see him get dropped too. But I think I got a lot of good depth on the team. I mean, pretty solid starting lineup. Rashad White's looking good. Bijan's crushing it. Stevenson, he's going to be that serviceable, kind of like consistent player.
Ramadre.
Maybe he isn't. What's that?
Ramadre Stevenson?
Yeah. Like, maybe he's not going to get me 30 points, but he's going to get me that consistent 15, like what you were talking about that you want.
The not zero.
Exactly. Addison, he's been looking good, although on my bench for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He's stretching the field for them, so, you know, gives me a little more confidence if I need to use him at any point in time. Michael Thomas, I mean, he's looked okay. Nothing great so far. Let's give him a little bit more time. I mean, it's not terrible his first 2 weeks. I mean, he had 8.6 points and 9 points. 5 catches off 8 targets and 61 yards in week 1. Week 2, 9 targets, 7 catches, 55 yards. So, I mean, he's getting involved. Give it some time. And considering where I got him almost at the very end of the draft, like, I'll take it. So, and Deontay Johnson, I think I'm a little disappointed with that pickup, because that was another one I told myself if it got to the point where I'm picking receiver and I'm trying to choose between Deontay Johnson and George Pickens, I'm going to go with George Pickens. And they were both there, and I went with Deontay in the moment, and I regret that a little bit, especially now that he's out for 4 weeks. But whatever, you know, I was able to just slide him in the IR spot. I'm doing okay at receiver. I got plenty of other people there. Plus, with my team running back heavy, I'd only need 2 receivers on any given week anyways.
Yeah, I'll need to strengthen my my running back core a little bit now. Hopefully I can get some good waiver claims. I mean,
I'm going to bid big dollars just to block you.
I mean, it wouldn't be so bad because I do have AJ Dillon for now. Like, hopefully that will buy me some time, depending on how long Aaron Jones is out, or at least not 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as always, like I believe my wide receiver picks are always pretty firm.
Gonna carry your team.
Yeah. I don't know why. Usually do pretty. And I mean, Keenan Allen, he's been on my team literally for 3 straight years. I don't know how he keeps falling.
I didn't realize you got him 3 years in a row.
I don't know how he keeps falling to me.
I think some people are afraid to pick him up because he's older. He was one of those guys, like, if he was there, I wouldn't have had a problem taking him. He just wasn't there at the point of the draft where I felt ready to take him.
I see him and Mike Evans as like the exact same player.
Him and who?
Mike Evans.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the same skill set.
Yeah.
It's like big, tall, like big ass dudes, like not super quick, but like quick enough, strong. Can just literally just put their arms up and catch over you. Like they don't have to fucking like worry about you really defending them. Like good red
Yeah.
zone targets.
Absolutely. Same number.
Yeah, yeah. Same number. I mean, have we seen him in the same game at the same time?
Yeah, right.
Oh man. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Cowboys and their dominant start.
I mean,
year. Like they've been crushing it on a different level this year. Now, I don't know if that's just their competition or are they that good? I mean, because we're still not going to find out this week if it's their competition or if they're that good because they are going against the James S. Murray Cardinals this week. They're going to probably crush them again.
I mean, week 1 versus the Giants, like, granted, yes, the Giants did have a comeback victory this last week, but that was against the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals.
So who cares? So again, that kind of just taints the, I would say, the Cowboys' victory a little bit. Like it, so you like the team that you decimated had to have come back against a worse team to win. So like to me, that makes your victory against them not so great. Like yes, you beat them 40-0, but like they struggled against the worst team in the league. Like they're not so good.
Yeah.
In this past week, I don't even remember who the fuck they played. To be honest with you, off the top of my head,
the Jets. They played both New York teams.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, the Jets. So again, you had a team that's still like probably reeling from like their hopes have been just fucking dashed away from such great heights. So they're probably not going to be a good team till like week 4 or 5.
Yeah. It seemed like in week 1, the Jets were still playing off that emotional high of that intro and everything and how they were able to survive against the Bills. And then, yeah, like it feels like whenever you have an injury, but you're running off adrenaline, so you keep going. And then the next week, that injury really settles in.
So now that pain's that thing, like, fuck, do you want to Aaron Rodgers? I mean,
we're back to Zach Wilson. And it's so funny. They're all trying to sell you on the idea. Oh, yeah, we fully believe in Zach.
Yeah, dude, the MILF Hunter. Yeah, he's awesome.
We believe in him so much. That's why we brought in Aaron Rodgers and have.
That's why we brought in a 39-year-old quarterback.
Yes, brought in all his friends, and then we're doing everything his way because we believe in Zach so much. Come on, you know they don't believe it. I feel bad for him because I felt like he really, really needed to sit behind. Like he got rushed into that job way before he was ready.
They all get rushed.
I was like, man. Yeah. I was like, he needs to sit in the back for like a year or two, learn from Aaron Rodgers, then try again. You know.
I mean, honestly, the best thing for you these days is to be like a middle of the pack quarterback in college. Like, all right, I'm gonna be plugged in at second string or third string, and just sit there and wait. Like, yes. That's like worked for Dak, worked for Brady, worked for Aaron Rodgers. Worked for literally every good Patrick Mahomes. Like,
yes, all the good ones. Like
just chill for a year or two.
Just wait for 1 year. Get accommodate. Like, why is all this like we have to win? I feel like we've seen so much evidence that rushing these guys in year 1, it's exciting for selling tickets and everything. But for
I'm
what?
Sure they
for
want
1
to play
year?
Too. Yeah.
2 years, and then the hype fizzles out because they're no good.
Yeah, or it could be like get your knee, like Breece Hall, right? Like, granted, he's a running back; it's a completely different set of circumstances. But like, imagine like your quarterback, you're like, we're gonna put this guy. He's fucking week 1 starter, and he gets his fucking like shit blown out week 1. You're like, wow, there goes a whole draft.
Yeah. Yeah, give these guys some time to let their bodies acclimate to, you're playing much bigger dudes in most cases in the NFL.
And faster too.
People.
Like, I would rather sit on the sideline and see like how fast it is. Like,
let me soak this in for a little bit. Let me understand it's a whole new playbook that they have to learn and terminology. These are kids still. They're 21 years old, 22 years old. And you're being paid all these millions of dollars and expected to run a whole NFL, one of 32 NFL franchises and everything.
$billion economy.
Yeah, like it's a little much. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I mean, we both picked the Cowboys to win their division. So it's a little hard to say. I mean, when are we going to find out? What is it? Week
When
1,
they-
2, 3, 4, 5. Week 5, we're going to find something out when they go up against the 49ers, the team that keeps knocking them out.
That's crazy that the Cowboys are on like a college schedule. You know, they play like their non-conference cupcake teams for like the first 6 weeks to really settle in their bowl bid for the end of the year.
I mean, their schedule really doesn't look super hard. Well, not the front half looks pretty easy.
And that's
Front half of
the
their
thing.
schedule
Then
is
they got a
pretty
cake schedule, right? And then with that, they'll all rack up individual stats and team stats, and they're like, "Wow, man, that's statistically this is the greatest fucking defense I've ever seen in my life." Like, yeah, really? Because every quarterback they went to was the dog shit quarterback and threw him 6 interceptions. Like, what are you talking about? Played Justin Fields 6 times in a row. Of course, they're gonna have tons of interceptions.
They got whoever, I don't even, who's running the Cardinals right now? What's his name? Didn't he come from your Browns?
What do you mean?
The quarterback there, Dobbs.
Oh yeah, that poor guy.
So they got to go up against Dobbs next week, and then Mac Jones the week after. So let's see. That week 5 matchup is where we're going to find out what they're truly made of.
Well, you know, Bill Belichick's going to come up with some kind of trickeration to at least like make their win.
Enough.
Well, no, I was going to say, I'm sure the Cowboys are still going to beat the Patriots, but you know, Bill Belichick's going to annoy the shit out of them to do so. You know,
Yeah.
and make them defend some stupid plays, some stupid rule. You're like, oh, come on, dude.
We will find out soon enough. All right. Topic I threw in here just for you. OSU standout. The savior, Chicago's savior, Justin Fields. Justin ain't it, is he?
No, he's not. There's never been an Ohio State quarterback that has been that guy. The best Ohio State quarterback is Kirk Herbstreit. You know what he did? He didn't fucking play quarterback in the NFL. He stuck to his guns and in college. Granted, yes, he does NFL stuff now, but like predominantly Kirk Herbstreit just stuck to his college announcing, which I think, you know, Ohio State quarterback should do. Just stick to your glory days of being a good quarterback in college and convert to wide receiver. Braxton Miller did, and he had a pretty productive career. Everyone else that tried, you're dog shit. Granted, one person can't be counted in that, but like, had Troy Smith, right? Dude won a Heisman.
Oh, God. I forgot all about him until just now.
They gave the man a Heisman, and he sat on the Ravens bench and then disappeared out of the NFL.
Never really did anything.
A Heisman. And that's the best award you can get, and these other guys are actually statistically better, and they're still trash.
They're just, I don't know. I just think Ohio State quarterbacks, they recruit people that are really, really good college style quarterbacks.
They recruit athletes, 5-star athletes. They're not position bound. They are just freaks of nature that it doesn't matter where you plug them in. If you give them enough college coaching, you can get by. Because again, it's college. Yeah. And in the Big Ten, you play no one until week 4. And then in Big Ten, like most of them are big dudes, and they play zone defense that you can just shred with slants, which is what Ohio State has done for 10, 15 years now. And now everyone's wised up to them, and they're not so, not so tough anymore. and they're like now, like no quarterback wants to go there. Like, look, I don't even know who the fuck their quarterbacks are. There's no 5 stars, 4 stars that want to go there because it's like it's the same shit. Like, look at the pipeline. Like, okay, well, I see if I go there as a quarterback and I get drafted, like I'm not gonna have the tools to succeed in the next level.
Yeah, you're not gonna be ready. You're gonna go for the exciting, like you said, the athletes that if they get everyone to drop back into a nickel dime coverage thing, trying to spread out the zone defense. Well, yeah, you can take off and run when you have a 3-man front that you're running against.
Yeah, if I'm trying to outrun the 350 pounders while everyone of the ability to tackle me has their back turned to me 40 yards down the field, yeah, I'll pick up at least 30.
Yeah.
Does it make me great? It makes me an opportunist. That's all that it does.
I just wonder at what point Do you think these NFL teams will stop buying into the hype? The Ohio State quarterbacks, are they ever going to stop buying into the hype because they keep spending high round draft picks on them?
I just think
They just don't pan out. They're not NFL ready.
I just think it's a short-sightedness of seeing the talent in college and not being able to be real with yourself and knowing that it's not always going to transfer to the professional level. And it's not just quarterbacks. Any position doesn't necessarily, like, player-wise, that their skill set may not transfer to the pro game. And whatever Ohio State is doing as far as a football factory, their quarterback division is not the best. If they want wide receivers, defensive backs, literally any other player, Ohio State can get you literally any other player but quarterback. Ohio State can get you a very good player. And this is coming from a Michigan fan because I see him all the time. My whole team is built around beating them, you know. But we never worry about the quarterback because it's going to be a mobile dude who throws it, and he's going to be throwing, you know, at dudes that are running slant routes. Pretty easy formula. In the NFL, like, you can't just throw, like, even if you do just want to throw slants, or even if the defensive team or the team on defense is in zone coverage, like, the dudes are so fucking good, it doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to get away with this shit here.
Yeah, you're going to have to mix it up. Speaking of that, did you see the thing where, I don't know if it was Evan White, if it was Levante David, or if it was Shaq Barrett talking about that interception return for a touchdown that they had?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see.
I mean, I saw the actual touchdown. I didn't hear anything about it afterwards or what they talked about.
Oh, they said that because if you saw the play, you saw where Shaq Barrett, right at the right time, jumped back and intercepted the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, they were talking about, they're like, well, yeah, we knew what they were running because they just ran the same play 3 times in a row. So, but the first 2 times they had gotten like penalties, so they had to replay the down.
They must have really liked that play. Like, they must have
it was like
really liked it.
It was like a little screenplay. So whenever they ran it the 3rd time and the offensive linemen are releasing him, he's like, we've just seen this twice. And that's when he jumped back and picked it off because the guy's about to run right next to me. It's a screen. Just going to take a step back and
Justin Fields none the wiser. Right. Didn't even read the defense. Just like, okay, they'll never know because this play works every time in practice against our defense, who knows the play.
And there was a couple plays where they showed screenshots or the videos where there was people, DJ Moore open in the flat.
He can,
I saw scrambles around and then just gets sacked, and DJ Moore's just like, what the fuck, man? Like,
yeah, I saw one where it's like 2 receivers were on the right hand side and the slot receiver took the safety, but I mean the slot receiver still open. Like, he could have just hit him in the chest, and the safety is about 5 yards behind him, so it's like he would have got the completion and a first down. But even the safety was like starting to drift the one receiver, leaving the other receiver literally wide open for, like, he could just touched it into the end zone. Just boop. Nope.
Didn't see it.
I guess you can't throw the helmets that don't have fucking stupid ass Buckeye stickers on them.
Yep, I don't know. I wonder. I don't know. Do you see Chicago? Let's say they end up terrible and have a top 5 pick. There's a lot of quarterbacks coming out this year. I hear this is a very quarterback heavy draft. You think Chicago moves on this year because they just got Justin Fields in 2021? Do you think by 2024 draft
if they're
moving on?
If they're smart, and I say this as like a business owner or like an NFL team owner, like I would want him gone. He has done literally nothing for me for 2 full years. Get the fuck out of my building. Like, if the whole purpose of this team is to win championships and to earn revenue, that ain't happening with that dude at quarterback. Not a chance.
They're not winning.
And like, I don't really know who's really going to be like, you know, like Mel Kiper's big board and all that shit. Like, he knows anything, but I really don't know like a quarterback that I would see like worth like burning a number 1 pick on. I think the dude that everyone likes right now is the guy from Duke. I think it's North Carolina, Kentucky. I don't know. It's some like ACC quarterback. Which again, to me, like I don't really put a lot of weight in ACC quarterbacks unless your name is Trevor Lawrence. maybe Deshaun Watson, but like usually that like ACC doesn't really produce the guys.
Drake May, is that who you're talking about? Drake May out of North Carolina.
Yeah. So he's supposed to be one of like the higher end dudes for the quarterbacks in the draft this year. But he's had a pretty shitty first 2 weeks have been pretty rough for him. Whereas last year he was like, they go through one drive like, is he on a Heisman pace? Like, dude, he's had one drive.
Well, you got him. You got Caleb Williams. He's the big name that I've heard. I've still yet to see him play.
If the Cardinals are the worst team, Caleb Williams will play one more year of college.
Yeah, I saw that. He doesn't want to go to that dumpster fire.
Nope. It will depend on who is the worst team if he will come out of for the draft. Which I don't blame him. Do the Bo Jackson thing, bro. Fuck that. I ain't going.
Well, what if he does the Eli Manning thing? Says I'm not going to play for
force
them.
a trade.
You can draft me, but you got to trade me immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a bit different. I think Eli was allowed to do that just because of the Manning name, whereas like because Archie is Archie, but like Peyton had proved that the Mannings are can be great quarterbacks. So I think he was able to use his leverage of his older brother, whereas Caleb Williams really can't do that. The only way I think he could is if like he won a Heisman this final year in our national championship with USC, and like whatever team like also wants him, like, bro, you're gonna have to fucking, you better start trading away some picks. Like, I'll come to you. I ain't coming to them.
Trying to see who else there's some quarterback in, because again, I'm not a big college.
I know Tua's brother,
Texas quarterback. You know who that is?
What, Quinn Ewers? I think he's probably.
Yes.
I think he'll have to play another year, but with Arch Manning behind him, it's unlikely that he'll get a chance for another year.
So he might come out this year.
Yeah, but he's like, I like polish wise, he shouldn't come out.
Yeah.
Man, because like he sat on the bench at again Ohio State, just sitting there, and he went somewhere else. Like, he's good, but like he needs a little bit more time.
And then one more quarterback that I'm going to bring up, which is going to roll us right into our last topic for the night. What about Shedeur Sanders?
I mean, the dude's pretty great.
Kid.
Yeah, I mean, dude's doing great. Super talented, obviously. He comes from one of my favorite players of all time, and I actually brought something which I'll show you here shortly. But I mean, he's been playing great, but again, it's week 2, Colorado State and TCU. But
TCU, come on, that was a big one at TCU.
What is that? What does that mean? Why? Because they were ranked 17 at the beginning of the game. What the fuck does that mean?
Because they were the runners up last year for the national championship.
They were the
gotta mean something.
They were the 12th team in the polls until everyone lost in the end, and after the college football picks played in, they were the 6th team. So they got in based off of other teams losing.
Yeah,
they beat Michigan based off of penalties and bullshit refereeing, because everyone saw it. So they shouldn't even have been in the national championship game. It's like a few years ago when K-State was like ranked 2, and it's like they didn't do anything other than not lose and the other teams lost. That is it. Yeah. Doesn't mean you're good. It just means you did not lose at the right time. They're ranked 17th overall coming into the year. Preseason polling is a crock of shit.
I think it's got to mean something, though, that they beat TCU. Especially this team was considered... Going back to Colorado, I mean, think about it, though. They were expected to win 2 games this year. Like, that was it. That's all that anyone gave them was 2 wins. And they're at what? They're at 3 wins now. They're 3-0. Who else did they beat? They beat one other one. I don't know that it was anybody that big, but there's that game, Colorado. They beat also Nebraska. Nebraska's trash.
Yeah, again, Nebraska's it's awful.
They haven't been good since we were little kids.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as like TCU, it's like, yes, they're a big school and they have good talent and stuff like that, but who cares? It doesn't matter where they ended up last year. Like, you lost so many seniors, you have so many freshmen, you have so many people adjusting to new positions that didn't necessarily play last year. It's a new team, essentially. You know, and then your quarterback that was a good quarterback, Max Duggan, like he's gone. So there, again, you're already a step down. So it doesn't, just because of wherever they finished last year, it has nothing. It doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, I mean, I know it's not a huge bearing, but it speaks something to a Colorado team that was a one-win team last year.
The only thing it speaks to is like the majesty of like what the win looks like, not what the win is, but what it looks like. You know, it's like, I'd say the biggest win of what it looks like and what it is Appalachian State beating Michigan. Like that is, you can still go to the Boone, North Carolina, and they still fucking live like it's 2007, dude. It's like, shut the fuck up. But that's what it, like, that was a big win. That one meant something.
Yeah.
Colorado with Dion beating, who cares? Like Colorado used to, Colorado I think has like played for a national championship at one point. Like it's not like it's like some bullshit team. It's like it's just an irrelevant team now.
They've been irrelevant for a while though. Like
after Cordell Stewart left, yeah, man.
Yeah, they've been awful for such a long time. So you're not really buying it into any of the hype yet. Have you watched their games?
It's not that I'm not buying into the hype. It's just like I don't believe in Dion. It's just like, again, like shit, like the Shador's like stats, like they're good because the teams suck. Like that's what it is. I'm not saying that like they're bad by any means. I think they're fucking they have some absolute freak shows on their team. But again, it's like it's a tune-up. Like once they start playing, like they got Oregon, right? That if they beat Oregon, then I'm like, okay, that's a fucking solid win right there.
They got to go to Oregon, and then they have to host USC the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, so
huge.
Yeah, I mean, those are massive. So it's like when you look at like the scope of TCU and those, like those games mean a lot more. Those TCU, who fucking cares? Who cares?
I've watched every one of their games so far.
Yeah.
Because I am also a huge Deion Sanders fan. I like the way that he carries himself. I like the way that he's running the team because I think he has like I like his modern day way of doing things, which is he still carries himself and expects his team to carry themselves with like respect.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also got that Deion swagger to him.
He's prime, baby.
Exactly. Like, I like that, I don't want everyone out there going crazy and he's still got control of the team, but he's got that swagger. He bought them all the Deion Sanders sunglasses now that are famous. And did you watch College Game Day this week?
I did. I think the reason why they like, or why players are so drawn to him is because what he is saying is like, he's talk the talk, he's walk the walk. He's a two sport athlete that was like played at an elite level at two sports. He's the only person in history that's played in a Super Bowl and a World Series, like started both of them. Like when he talks, like as an athlete, if you were to talk to me, like I would listen to him. Like, bro, yeah, you know what you're fucking talking about. You're 2-time Super Bowl championship and World Series attendance with the Braves, but at least you were there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think his history of his playing days definitely has a lot to do with it, but I think it also has so much to do with the way that he carries himself.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he's got his guys' backs and everything. And I don't know if you saw the very blatant late hit that the guy that the Colorado State guy put on him. Have you seen that guy is now getting
death threats? Yeah, I saw. I mean, that's just the world we live in now, right? Like anyone does something you don't like, let's fucking dox them. Let's do a death threat. But that hit was not as bad as, remember the Florida Oklahoma national championship game when old boy, the defensive back, teed off on the Oklahoma wide receiver. I think or was it Ohio State? Either way, it was a red jersey, and he fucking just cleaned his clock, dude. Like, and that was the same. It was the same shit. The play, it was the uncatchable ball.
Not the same. Not quite the same. Not quite the same.
Almost exactly the same.
No. There's a major difference. I literally watched that play like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Because it came up on my TikTok. I was fucking browsing through TikTok, and that exact I might have sent it to you. It might be in your
Maybe.
inbox right now as we speak. It's very possible. I don't know if I hit send on that one or not. Let me I want to see. Did I even end up sending that one to you? But while I look that up, no, I did not hit send. But anyways, I know it's Major Wright.
Yes.
Major Wright lit a dude up. It was Oklahoma. There was a difference though. He was talking about it and he was like, "Oh, I could have intercepted the ball." He hit that guy. Yeah, he wanted to send a message, but he hit that guy second his hands got on the ball. Like he timed it perfect. That's the difference. This one from the Colorado State game, it was already very chippy at that point.
Well, because the coach,
Yeah. And so the ball had hit the ground. Everyone knew the play was over, and that guy kept going. It reminded me more of like the Little Giants, where they're going after what's his face long after the play is over.
Yeah.
And he looked like he was trying to hurt him, like he needed to take him out because he knew that guy was going to be a problem for him. But going back to what we're saying with Dion, I saw a thing from Dion, and he addressed that and the fact that kid's getting death threats, and he's like, "Listen, at the end of the day, this is just a game. Like that's stupid. No matter what happens, we don't need to be sending death threats to anybody." And you know, it's like that. He's like, "Our team, I've forgiven them. Our team has forgiven them. Our guy has forgiven them. All y'all out there need to forgive them. Let's move on. It's just a game because at the end of the day, we all just want to go home." And yeah, our guy is hurt, but it is what it is. We're moving on. Please, if you're a Colorado fan, no death threats. And I like that he actually addressed that. He didn't just let it go, or he's not holding a grudge, and he's telling people like that's not the way we do things here at Colorado. Like just let it go.
Yeah, I mean,
if you've let it go, you need to let it go.
Well, to echo your admiration for Dion, I actually have something that I've had since 1995. I've kept it with me through a lot of stuff. It doesn't fit anymore. It's a child size, but I have this Dallas Cowboys 1995 Deion Sanders starter official team gear hat.
Nice.
I've had this thing for so long. My dad went to, when he was a truck driver, he went to Texas, or Dallas, a more matter of fact, like years and years and years ago, obviously. And he asked me he's like, "Do you want anything while I'm in Texas?" And I said, "Bring me a Deion hat," 'cause I fucking loved Deion Sanders as a kid. He's the reason, Deion Sanders, oddly enough, is the reason why I like Michigan. Because I wanted to watch college football, and I was like, I want to find a player that's just like Deion Sanders. Boom, Charles Woodson. Boom, Michigan fandom. So you can thank Deion Sanders for that.
Yep. Yeah, he was always fun to watch. I wish.
But I've been holding on to this to get signed by Deion one day. I've hold on forever.
Good luck. Good luck now at this point. It's probably a huge ass line waiting for signatures from him now. He is one of the players. I feel like the two Sanders, Deion Sanders and Barry Sanders, are two people that like I wish we could watch them play now.
Yeah. 100%.
We have a better appreciation for the game. We can do whatever we want because we're adults. So if we want to sit at home and watch football all day, we can. We don't have to be drug out of the house or anything. Or like we could just sit back and watch it. And like those are two guys I really wish we could be watching right now here today.
Yeah, I have the faintest memories of them both. I mean, granted, because it was so long ago. I mean, I remember Deion on the Ravens for like the end of his career, which I was like, I don't like that.
I didn't like that either.
I think he also played for like the Redskins at one point too. But his the Falcons, Niners, and Cowboys, that was my Deion Sanders, right?
Yeah.
But I have the faintest remembrance, but I have more vivid memories of Barry Sanders though, mainly because they were the Bucs division at the time, so we got to watch him play at least twice a year, and he always just fucking shredded the Bucs every single time. So bad. I remember sitting in our room watching on that little black TV we had. I remember like watching Barry Sanders on there one time, like, God damn it, dude, like no one can tackle this guy. It was like 98 or something, 97 or 98. I was like,
yeah. Couldn't get close to him. He just juke everyone out of their shoes, man.
Yeah, especially on like that old Detroit, like looked like spray painted concrete was like their field. It was like that real flat, just
Yep. So before we head out, You got to check your phone and tell me from the pictures I sent you how much this Cardinals coach
yeah.
looked like James S. Murray.
I actually pulled it up a minute ago, and it made me
Tell me that is not him.
more so this one. Let's see if I can. More so this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking Murr, dude.
That is Murr right there. Oh, all right. Well, I think that closes it out for episode 2. Try and be back next week again on Tuesday. Recap week 3 and anything else that's going on. Any final thoughts for us on our way out, Ryan?
No. Go blue. That's about it.
Go blue.
Yeah, go blue.
All right. See you next week.